right, so for this particular village, I'm going to be using some composite wood, and I believe it's about a 1/2 inch thick. And I'm going to cut it a little bit, but it comes in 4x8 sheets, but you can get it cut specifically at Home Depot or Lowe's for free. So I did that, I cut it. So I'm going to do a couple additional cuts. I also bought, so I recommend for styrofoam platforms going to Lowe's and Home Depot as well and getting the styrofoam insulation for houses. It comes in a 4x8 sheet. So this is what the styrofoam insulation looks like. I cut it with a saw just to kind of break it down a little bit for the car. So that's why it's a little rough. But this is what it looks like. It's about $17 a sheet. I bought 2 for now. I'm going to use one as the base on that plywood, and then I'm going to like create mountains and things off of it as well. The other reason I like it is because it's thick. So it's about an 1.5 inches thick styrofoam. So it's hard to find styrofoam, and it's also the cheapest and most bang for your buck. So I'll peel this off, and then I'll kind of shape it and smooth it out. Also for this year's village, I'm gonna use 2 sawhorses that I got at Lowe's. Came in a 2-pack for 40 bucks. So rather than build a table, this will be easier for storage, and I can use these if I need to for construction. So I'm gonna put the wood platform on here in the house, but for now I'm gonna use it to do some cuts and things. Okay, so I prepared the styrofoam by peeling off the stickers on the bottom and the top, and I also bought this hot wire foam cutting kind of craft item. It was like 25 bucks, it came with 3 things, and you plug it in and it's easy to cut the foam. So I'm gonna trace it out with the table underneath, and then I'll eventually start trying to make some mountains and things. All right, so I'm gonna start kind of chipping away, and you can see you just kind of gently kind of glide it, and you let the wire do its thing. And just kind of sears it away. I don't want to put too much pressure. So I'm going to shape this up to the shape of the table underneath. So you see how it makes a kind of natural mountainous kind of look, which will be good for the village. And that was just regular cutting. So as you can see, I'm just kind of like cutting the edges and searing it so it's not all gonna fall, all the styrofoam all over the place. So you just kind of gently kind of glide it. See how it comes off like that? Yeah, so it's got a nice textured look on the edges. So I'm doing this all the way around. Okay, so after I've gotten the base styrofoam all set, I'm going to lay out all my dimensions of the village pieces so that I can kind of space out things and figure out what I want to do and kind of draw out a game plan. Okay, so I'm going to make some elevation. I'm going to start off with a mountain over here. So I have some glue that I bought that's specially for foam. Bought this at a craft store, Hobby Lobby. So I'm going to put some on here. In the corners, kind of drizzle it. I don't think it needs a lot, but you know, get it cut off the top there. So this stuff is pretty good for like gluing styrofoam together. And then I'm gonna use this guy to shape it up once I've kind of glued all the pieces that I need to. Okay, so I've glued these pieces together. So once I shape it and I paint it, it'll look like it's all one piece. But it's about 8.5 inches tall, so this is gonna be one of my mountains in the top left corner. I plan one village piece here, and then I'm gonna dig in and I'm gonna put like a second tier here for the other piece. And I'm also gonna dig some holes through the styrofoam here for the cords. That's another trick, and that's one of the benefits of planning out everything. Trying to give it some texture. All right, so sculpted the outside. You can see it kind of blends together. You can still see the lines a little bit, but if you paint this and kind of fill in the cracks, it'll look sharp and it'll look like one big kind of mountain piece. So, yeah, just the little things make the displays look much better. Okay, so now I have like the pencil, the long pencil thing, and I'm gonna try to cut out a second tier here. So just let the, see how it just melts the styrofoam? So easy, you just let the kind of thing do its work and you can kind of cut things out. Okay, so I've got the 2 levels done. Now I'm going to put some holes in the middle here for the cords. I'm going to go all the way through with this guy. So start here. So I'm just going to make a nice circle. Allow enough room for the cord. So pull the little cork out. Okay, so the next mountain I'm gonna try to make, I'm drawing a sketch and kind of pre-measuring the raw cuts, like the excess, and then this is kind of the finished product of what I envision. And each of these is the foam layers. So it'll be the top to bottom about 10 inches, and then I'll do like another platform here, 6 inches, and then 4 inches for another platform. So we'll see how this comes out. But again, I have my raw measurements. So the key is, again, plan everything out, kind of space everything out. I got my, little cutouts, so I kind of have a feel for the overall scheme. So I recommend doing that if you're doing this kind of thing. So I've been shaping this mountain.
Hi.
So with the tool, kind of making it look like one big piece. Still got some shaping to do, but you can kind of get the point. And I have the papers here, so again, I can figure out the size of the village pieces and how they would fit. All right, so I've made 3 little platforms so far. I cut this one out like an L shape, and I just kind of trimmed, and I just pasted one more piece on top of there. So I'm thinking that's gonna look like that. Now I gotta figure out over here. So I've got a lot of the platform done. Now I'm working on my biggest project, mountain. I'm trying to figure out what to do here. So I'm gonna play around and carve some stuff and see how it looks. Okay, so I'm continuing to shape some of these mountains and just kind of play around with things. So, it's a rough draft. It looks a little styrofoamy, but you can fill this in with like foam and cotton and different things like that. You can also paint this if you want to hide some of the cracks and things like that. But once you put all the pieces and once you put like trees and cotton, it'll kind of hide a lot of the seams and things like that. The next thing I got to do after I kind of finish this is I got to figure out more of the holes so I can hide the wiring. So now for the village, what I'm going to do is I'm going to carve out little holes in the styrofoam. So we're going to trace just a rough trace so I kind of know where to drill. For the holes in the plywood, I used a 1.5 inch diameter drill bit, just for regular power drill. All right, so now I'm going to drill holes where I marked so that I can put the lights through there and they can come up through the styrofoam. Poked holes so I can put the lights, and it's got to be wide enough to fit the light bulb for the village display. And if I want to cover this up with something, I can do that. So if I change the village around down the road, I can cover it up with either styrofoam or cloth or something to hide the holes. All right, so I have my final rough draft all set, and I kind of have everything ready to go. I got the holes, I got the sculpting done. So now we're gonna bring it inside and get to work. All right, so I have the North Pole Village, got 3 bins worth. So I have unboxed all the different village and accessories that I'm gonna put up, and I'm getting them ready. I got the cords ready, checked all the bulbs. All right, so I have the lights all set and poked through, and I have all the pieces ready to go. So now we're gonna start putting the houses on the platform. So this is the first rough draft. You might move some things. Still gotta light it up and do some finishing touches, but kind of just threw some stuff all around. Okay, so after you have your rough draft done, you obviously want to test out all the lights, so make sure that you do that. Some of the items you might need batteries for, so you want to make sure that you're all stocked up on your batteries. You also want, I always use like a cotton that you can buy at any craft store, and I put the cotton in between the cracks and kind of along some of the wires that may be still there, or anything that I kind of want to hide, like the back wall a little bit. You can also make mountains. A lot of people do that in the back, but I like to kind of use this cotton. It looks like fresh fallen snow, and it glows pretty good. So like back in here, you just kind of place it down a little bit behind the items. Yeah, you can see it kind of just hides everything. So you can kind of stretch it out, put it right under there. So it kind of, so as you can see, I'm pretty much done with all the cotton, and it just kind of hides everything and blends everything a little bit, hides wires if you need it, or like I said before, cracks and things that you don't want sort of shown. Also have this real plastic snow stuff that I'm going to kind of sprinkle around. See how that looks. Okay, so this is the finished product for the Christmas Village of 2020.